This painting is Damascus Road, and it was painted in 1988, part of a series, one of the paintings in the series of the Autemps series, which was sort of a made-up French word, which basically I wanted to mean all time. So the series had to do with life, death, birth, resurrection, and rebirth. I think all of the paintings are in the center of that series. It's one of the only complete series we have of paintings. I had finished the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Art. I had started to show in Philadelphia, and most of the paintings were interiors initially, paintings like the one of my parents. And then I wanted to start doing outdoor scenes. And actually the gallery I was with at the time said they wouldn't show those. They wanted me to keep painting the interiors. Actually, that gallery owner's name for it was Girls in Chairs. Keep painting girls in chairs. I was tired of painting girls in chairs. So I wanted to go outside, and I started painting some construction worker paintings. I did one called Tar Men, which I really liked a lot. And then from there, it moved into more allegorical kind of subject matter. This one was about divine intervention. So the story of Damascus Road, which in the biblical sense, which was again one of those examples of the stories I used to illustrate as a kid in church on the bulletin, was when Saul was struck blind on Damascus Road. And I think I was mainly interested in it initially by the title. I wanted to do a painting called Damascus Road. I thought, what a beautiful phrase. What we have here is a failure to communicate. It's like that line from Cool Hand Luke, the movie Cool Hand Luke, because you've got this divine connection, but it's as if some accident has happened and it's knocked the power lines down. And so there's a break in the connection of the communication from above. But you see he's got these blinders where there's sort of a halo is starting to come, or they're just like blinders on either side of his head. And that was the central motif when I started doing drawings for it, like what I wanted the painting to be about. I kept having this sort of broken figure that was about to take off or having a seizure, but I composed the painting from the famous photo by Nut, who was the Vietnamese war photographer, photojournalist, and he took the napalm girl running down the road, and her sort of akimbo arms and legs were an inspiration for this figure. And on the right, you have a kind of Norman Rockwell kind of figure, like that's my self-portrait. I'm leaning in, and I'm saying, stay back. He's wearing an airborne hat from Fort Benning, but he's also holding his fingers just like this, which is like about that little space in between. That it's all just comes down to this little microcosm. The macrocosm is a microcosm. And it's just that all about that little space in our brain where the energy flows in and out through that little valve. And it's all about how we respond to things. The baby is blue, which is the color when one first comes out. I was there for all three of my son's births. And when they first come out, they're blue until either they get slapped on the bottom or until they take their first breath. So again, it's like Schrodinger's cat. You're not sure if it's alive or dead. And that's a lot about what the painting is about. It's also like a little Shiva child, a little blue Shiva child. All of the paintings are open-ended. None of them are set. It's like a living document. So they don't have the meaning that they really have until someone brings their own meaning to it. And that's what its potential to be a living document. It's not unlike a painting that has specific symbols that are understood by everybody throughout history. Mine I think of as signs or signposts that are personal meanings. And then that is part of what makes them open and not closed documents or dead documents versus living documents. It's not complete until the viewer responds to it and has their own response to it. So any interpretation's right, which is one of the fun parts of being a painter. You know, it's not like I'm presenting it in a didactic way, like, you know, you have to get this. It's just like, here. I think that I probably had a lot of angst through these years. I was in my early 30s when I did this. And this series of paintings was the paintings that I first got into New York and showed in New York with. So you can see that I was driving to New York on the Jersey Turnpike to try to go up to New York and get a gallery, and I was taking in my slides and saying, please show me, please show me. But the paintings were so big. I mean, obviously I wasn't doing paintings to go in people's homes. They weren't decorative. They were me with all of my young angst trying to make the biggest, most, statements that I could. Making with every painting, trying to make my effort to make a masterpiece. That was part of the thing. And I did little paintings all the time, and I did paintings that I sold. And I sort of, when you do a painting like this, you know that it's not something that's going to sell, because who the heck's going to buy it? It's like too big. So these paintings, all the paintings in the gallery here were rolled up after I did them. I maybe showed it once. Maybe I think that I showed this painting either once or twice. Once in a show that I put together myself, and once at PPOW Gallery in New York. And then they got rolled up and were in storage forever until the center was built. I know the painting so well, so it's like just seeing an old friend. Sometimes you look at them and you think, I can't believe I had anything to do with that, because it was so like fearless, and. But sometimes you look at it and you think, oh, I could have done that better. So it's always different. But back then I was just, I'd just do big paintings, and I would just like make the marks and say, you get the idea, and I'd move on to the next big painting, because I had so many ideas, And then, you get a little older, and it's just like your perspective changes, and it's always different stages of life. You're always in a different place with different hormones and different reasons for making the work. Back then, I think I actually wanted to do a painting so well that somebody would love me. I think that was part of it. I was like, I would make a painting that was so good that you couldn't help but love me.